Hello everybody, today we're going to be doing a simple build I like to call the New Age Crossbow Expert. It's a super simple build because we're going to be going 12 levels in Champion Fighter, but we're going to be taking a feat with almost, if not every single level ability score improvement. I'll name it later. The race you're going to want with this, it does work with Variant Human. You can get all your stuff earlier. It will be doing a lot of damage earlier, but it won't be as effective damage with Variant Human. So we're actually going to go with the Critical Role Paladin. This one, Elf. And yeah, then we're going to go all 12 levels in Champion Fighter. On proficiency, you can choose. I think for this build, we are going to be using Dexterity for that crossbow. So Acrobatics wouldn't be bad. And then Insight's always good in my opinion. Because in my game, at least, we're always telling lies, so you want to know who's telling the truth and who's not. Archery, because you're going to be using that crossbow. It's going to be +2, and you're going to get Sharpshooter eventually, so that's going to help a lot too. We're going to combat that -10 you're going to be taking with the Sharpshooter feat. Yeah, your first feat you're going to want to take is going to be Elven Accuracy. It's going to be Crossbow Expert. That way you can shoot that crossbow as a bonus action, which is going to give you an extra, 1d6 every single turn. And then we're going to up that again with Elven Accuracy. So whenever you have advantage, you can roll 3 dice instead of 2. And you can generate advantage whenever you want to, just about with the invisibility spell that you get at this kind of elf. At 5th level, you can cast invisibility once per long rest on yourself only. Later on, we're going to want more ways to generate advantage so that we get that Elven Accuracy feat every single time. But until then, you're going to have to rely on that spell and then your companions to help you out with that. Next, we're going to be taking the Sharpshooter feats. Here it is. Now with that triple advantage, you'll get 3 times with 3 dice you roll whenever you get advantage. When you have advantage, you can use the Sharpshooter feat, and you'll have 3 chances to crit. And if you crit, then it doesn't matter on the penalty you take because you'll be oh, it's -5. I thought it was -10. Because you add +10 to your damage. That's a lot more than a -5 penalty. It's a lot. It's really useful for that extra damage. So 1d6 plus, let's say, 4, which I think is what your ending dexterity is going to be at this level. That'll be 14 damage plus your 1d6, and if you crit, that's going to be 2d6. But because that's just not enough, we're going to add the new feat called the Piercer. We're going to use that for your dexterity score, and boom. This allows you to, whenever you crit, instead of rolling 1 dice, you roll an extra dice. Instead of rolling 2 dice, you roll an extra dice on top of that. So when you crit with that 1d6, you'll be rolling twice the damage die plus an extra damage die. So that's 3d6 every single time you crit. And then this build definitely goes higher. It only gets better with higher levels. With this, you can take a different New Age feat called the, what do you call it? We'll keep going then. Say 15. One of these, I would say the Fey one. Fey Touched. Wisdom would be a not bad choice. Just because Wisdom protects you against those spells more often. This way you get Misty Step, I believe. Yes, Misty Step, and you can choose Find Familiar. And that way you have that advantage every turn. Alternatively, you could choose, which you would want it anyway, you'd want it twice. You'd choose Fate Touched and the second one, which is going to be so it doesn't matter which one you choose really. So later on you're going to want Shadow Touched Wisdom. And this gives you Darkness. It's going to give you another way to generate advantage. And with that extra way to generate advantage, if your Find Familiar ever goes down, you can get that. But you also want this for Hex, because you can concentrate on Hex during all this, Action Surge, and every D6 that hits will be doing an additional D6. And if you crit, instead of 3d6, that's going to be 4d6 plus 14. Where is it? Every single time you hit Hex. You could also take Hunter's Mark. I personally just like Hex for flavor reasons better, but it's also pretty useful to give someone disadvantage on their strength checks. It happens quite often, in my games at least, for someone to make opposing strength checks. So now you have multiple ways to generate advantage. Find Familiar is a very solid way, regardless of anything else. Invisibility. And when you do have that advantage, and your extra defense is always a good one. You already have Archery. It does not stack. Anyone who didn't know that. And yeah, now we'll go to ability score and to your abilities. I personally use Pwned by, if you roll, you just want to make sure your highest stat is in Dexterity. Let's see if that's all right. Yeah, it lags sometimes. 14 in health, in your Constitution. Your Wisdom, because we already dumped a lot into Wisdom anyway, a 13 will be fine. We don't actually need high Wisdom, but it's useful. Yeah, now you have a 16 in Wisdom, so your saving throws against these Wisdom spells, or against these Wisdom saving throw spells, are not going to be bad at all. Let's see. A 10 in Charisma, because talking is always nice. Being able to speak well is always nice. Same thing for Strength. You're going to have Strength saving throws at the same time. Again, a lot of this is optional as long as you have that high Dexterity score, so that you get more for your bike. You get more for your buck with that Crossbow Expert. You want to have as high of a plus to hit as possible. Last but not least, that last two could definitely go anywhere. I think I'm gonna. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I'll put that to use here. Intelligence is my personal usual dump stat. It's never gonna be. A lot of my saving throws aren't gonna be intelligence saving throws, so I'll get rid of it more than often. Criminal, because you're gonna have Criminal Spy is a good background to have because you get the deception and stealth. And you definitely want to stealth. If we didn't already take, yeah, because you're gonna have high dexterity, and you're already a crossbow expert. Climbing and going far away, and then shooting from a distance. You want to hide when you're doing that, especially since you have invisibility. It's not going to be a bad option. Let's see. And now equipment. For your equipment, you do have to worry about the fact 2 martial weapons. Boom. Crossbow hand, but crossbow hand. You get a hand crossbow twice, and you're good. And a lot of these are also optional, but what's going to work with your dexterity will be these. But once you start playing the game, you're going to want to buy one as soon as possible. Buy better armor, like studded leather armor if you can find it. And probably do we have daggers? We do not get a dagger with this background. You can pick a different background if you think a dagger could be that necessary, but I would suggest having some kind of dexterity-based melee weapon with you. Just so you can make opportunity attacks. And we equip all of that. Again, this could work as early as 12th level, except the only thing would be you wouldn't have that constant way to generate advantage. But yet here at 16th level, you'll always have advantage. So you'd be rolling 3d20. And you crit on 19 or 20, but we got the 20 crit. That would do 46, I believe. Plus 14, because you take that -5, which wouldn't matter, because you crit, and regardless. You get double damage dice for the 2d6, and you crit at 18 at level, with your 15th level ability, I believe. So that's almost that's at least a 15% to crit, and that goes even more, I think that goes higher with Superior Critical. But let's see, your AC is 16, which isn't the highest AC, but you're not going to be that close regardless. You have a plus 11 to hit, so taking -5 really means very little for you. And you get 3 attacks, so imagine that 3 times. If you crit, you're going to crit more than likely on at least 2 of these. And 3 attacks plus your bonus action attack. That's another crit. No. Yeah, 18, that's another crit. Let's see how many we can get of these in a row. That's 2 crits. Oh, wrong dice. And Is that 3 crits? Is that a 19? That's 3 crits in a row. And you get one more attack. Okay, we missed it there. But with a 15 minus 5 plus 15 plus 11 minus 5, we probably still hit our target for a good 1d6 plus 14 damage. But all the other hits crit, and that'd be 46 plus 4. If you have your hex on. If you don't have your hex on, it'll be 3d6, but it's still a good amount of damage. Now, after doing some actual math, there's going to be, with 3 crits, that'll be an average of, with 3 crits and 1 hit, that's going to be an average of 104 damage, which is a lot of damage, but we have a 45% crit chance, not a 75% crit chance. So more likely, that's going to be 2 crits, which is, giving 5%, but 2 crits and 2 hits, which is 92 average damage. So it's not that much of a difference for those 2 crits as opposed to those 3 crits. You get 5d6 when you crit plus 14. And I know some, you are supposed to double your dice, not your damage, but some DMs do double damage. So, it's going to be even more if you do, because that 14 would be doubled as well. But yeah, that's a lot of damage. Do keep in mind that this build uses a lot of UA, so you would have to ask permission of your DM if you can use UA in your character. But aside from that, there's no downside. This uses no expendable resources. You can action surge, and that 104, that 92 becomes 200 something, or 100, almost 200 something. The average of these will be a lot higher too, only because of the Piercer feat also allows you to reroll 1s and 2s. What was it? The Piercer feat allows you to reroll some of your damage die. Reroll 1 damage die per turn. So it's not going to be a lot higher damage, but you're going to have a higher average, a negligibly higher average.